Hello, Goddess. Welcome back. This is Andrea with You, our Mind, Body, Soul. And in this space, I guide goddesses to bridge the mind, body, and soul through psychosomatic education, consciousness reconditioning, as well as alchemy and energetics. Come on in. I hope that you are feeling well. Hopefully, you have something nice to drink. I've got water today. And I am excited about having this time and space to be with you in this temple space to talk to you about how to stop sabotaging your manifestations. And I feel like it is such an opportune season to discuss manifestation because we are in the spring season. And May Day, which is May the 1st, was Beltane, which talks about being more and more prepared to nurture the seeds that we have planted and the sprouts that are now growing as Earth moves into her spring phase. And just sitting and feeling into the energy of the spring and everything that we prepared ourselves to come to this point, manifestation just feels like such an aligned topic. And it's so important for us as we grow closer and closer in alignment with our goddess frequency that we remember that every season has its impact on our lives. And so if you are here in the northern hemisphere with me, that's where we are. So before I get too deep into today's topic, as always, I want to remind you to please like this video so that YouTube can do its magical, mysterious thing with the algorithm. Please remember to share this video so that other goddesses such as yourself can receive this information. And please remember to subscribe to the channel and press that notification bell so that you can get updated when I post content such as this every week. And thank you so much to my new subscribers. It's so great to have you. So let's get into it. The first question that I want to consider here is, why do we sabotage our manifestations? So, sabotaging our manifestations comes just from the nature of who we are inherently, our chemical makeup, our biological makeup, as a form of survival. Our bodies are naturally wired and programmed to have fear and to be on high alert. This is how our brains have evolved over time. And that's why it's so important for us to be aware that we have a higher consciousness, which in these cases and in these videos, I call the goddess consciousness, which is actually multifaceted, masculine, feminine, divine, creative, combination of energies. But it's important to remember that we have that goddess vibration and that goddess consciousness so that we can consciously recondition ourselves and override the body's evolutionary response to these novel situations that we are having as humanity. Over the course of our human development, over years and years and years, we have been programmed to have these gut responses to things that may take our lives. When we were hunters and gatherers, you never knew when there would be a predator around. And so our brains are just like that. And even so, as we evolve and as we have grown, our parents' parents have these patterns that were inherited in us. So we were born with these things inside of us. And so when we are doing our inner work around this, we can reprogram our subconscious minds and we can reprogram our responses and our wirings and patternings to support these more informed from a higher state ways of living. So it is natural to have fear in your body. It is natural to be governed by your fear response. And it does take some time to reprogram yourself and to rewire those things out of your body. So I would have to say that the one thing that I have learned about manifesting is one of the biggest things is I used to think that manifestation was something that was bestowed upon me by like some heavenly realm, until I realized that I am the universe. I am one with the universal source. It flows through me as my divine right, as a child of the source, the most high power that flows through me. I was born from that creative source. And so it is not bestowed upon me, it is actually my birthright. It is actually my inheritance. I was born with this inheritance to access whatever it is I want to manifest. And so the first thing that I ask you to start to grow and to hold space and receive into your frequency is the acceptance that you are the universe, that you are an emanation, a reflection of the Most High. And so there is no such thing as having to earn something in a traditional masculine sense. Okay. So you do not have to be bestowed upon, showered upon, because you have all of a sudden acquired a certain level of worthiness and you had to fight and work and grit your way into it. And it's not something that just happened by happenstance, the blessings that are for you, because we are always continuously blessed with every breath that we take. It is our natural state to be fertile, to thrive, and to be blessed. Okay. So we want to initially start to shift that in your body, how you feel about your manifestations, because for a long time I always felt like I was separate from my manifestations and that they were so far away from me. And so in my consciousness, I always would have like this longing for what it is I want, until I taught myself, you have to teach yourself to shift your energy so that you are a vibrational match for what it is you desire, rather than holding an energy, consciousness, frequency of longing that it has not happened yet. And I can talk a bit more about that in detail. I've talked about it in other videos, and I'm actually have multiple courses that talk about those kind of things in more detail. Okay. Um, so it's normal to think small. Okay. Only in recent history do we have access to the abundance that we currently have. It is very new for our bodies. It is very new for our psychological makeup, especially as women. For centuries, we've been taken care of by men. We never were the ones that went out and hunted and did all of these things. And now women are absolutely bossing up their lives. And so even when you have manifested a great amount of, let's say, material abundance, there could still be instances where you still have fear that you would lose it all. And that is because of our biological makeup. So it doesn't matter whether you are trying to manifest something small and simple, or whether you are trying to manifest something on a great larger level. The skills, the energetic skill sets that you need to not sabotage those manifestations are all one and the same at every stage. It's just a different stage, but the same skills and the same process of realigning your conscious belief system, which changes your energy, your energetic response, which then programs the feedback loop that you are receiving by way of your perceived reality. Okay. So, one of the things that I used to do a lot when it came to sabotaging my manifestations was I would reject the natural flow state of how that manifestation was coming. It's important to understand that when we are manifesting things, especially when you are manifesting something larger, something that would possibly take multiple years. And some things that you think, there have been instances where I thought that some things would take over a year and then it happened in like a few months. So we don't want to put time limits or time constraint on when something is going to manifest. Again, that is focusing on the external factors and as if it is out there versus focusing on what is happening internally, your intrinsic makeup and vibration and perceptions. Okay. And when you are focusing on the progression of how your manifestations are coming in, it's important to know, particularly with the larger manifestations, that sometimes it may seem as if things are going slower at some points in that progression. Like sometimes you may need to actually lose things before you gain that manifestation. And a way in which we can sabotage ourselves is when the foundation that we had built for ourselves begins to crumble underneath us. Like if you are, let's say, in some type of situation that you perceived as a source of stability for yourself, let's say you lost that instance and that sense of false security, you may fall into despair and forget to realize that that is actually being moved out of the way to create more space for something that is happening in the future. So sometimes it may seem like time is slowing down when you are trying to manifest certain things, but we want to accept and we want to surrender to the slowness of that flow. Because I find that when things slow down, it's just like last month during Mercury retrograde in April, things really slowed down. And so those are the times where it's so important for us to remain present with ourselves and present with that internal vibrational process that we are experiencing. Because anytime that you are trying to manifest something, there is a part of your makeup, a part of your personality, which is your personal reality. Check out that previous video that I dropped. That is shifting and it is expanding to fit right into place with the physical manifestation of what it is you are asking for, of what it is you are aligning with. Okay. And so sometimes things need to slow down on the external reality so that you can really come inside and you can focus on how you are shifting and how you are changing on the inside. And then as you focus on that, everything else on the outside starts to change and it starts to evolve. Okay, so I have here a couple of things that you can do to support your manifestations and to stop sabotaging your manifestations is to allow flow. So one of the biggest things that have actually sped up my manifestations, and I'm talking about like in the last few weeks, is the recent course that I created, which you can check out on yambs.co. And what vibrational voodoo does is it helps you to clear out emotional blocks, because as we are having this sensory experience of life where you wake up and you interact with life through your five or six senses when you're really attuned, as you begin to have this sensational, sensual experience of life, it then begins to affect you on different levels, right? So if you have a closed heart space and you go to interact with life and life is trying to pour into you, but your heart space is closed, then you are not going to have as deep of an experience of life as you could if that heart space was clear and it was open. So as women, we are divine portals. Every human life is a portal between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. Check out that previous video on heart and mind attunement, opening up your heart and using your mind less. So we serve as a conduit between the sacred, the spiritual, and the mundane. And so when we have blocks inside of our bodies, we are no longer allowing that flow to come through. And so when it comes to manifestations, that inner work that we are doing, especially in the times when things are shifting, whether they are slowing down or whether they are picking up, we want to be able to create flow for all of that in a way in which we are not collapsing on ourselves, number one, which is to really just not allow yourself to feel the experience that you are having so that you are processing, especially emotionally, what is happening. If you are able to process things on a deeper level emotionally, which is understanding your emotions, recognizing where they originate in your body, okay, and allowing yourself to fully feel those emotions, so instead you just collapse on yourself, then psychologically you are blocking yourself from having the full spectrum experience of your reality. Check out Vibrational Voodoo. It's still at a pre-launch price, okay? So we are either collapsing on ourselves and impeding the flow. We are either having so much flow, and when manifestations come in, sometimes they come in so fast. Like I had a moment just the other day where really things really started to open as far as what I had been manifesting regularly. And that's a big part of the reason that I'm doing this video, is because I've had some very intentional things, very specific things that I set my mind and my heart to align with. I want to say just it was about mid-March, and now it's been like mid-April. It's only been like 6 weeks, but this is something that I knew was an alignment. I knew that it was a natural progression for me to manifest this thing. And so I created the course and I set my intentions to manifest. And just the other day, what happened was things started to move so quickly with this thing that I wanted to manifest in my life. And if you want to hear more about it, you can check out the course. I'll tell more of my personal stuff in the course. And I actually do think that I spoke a little bit about it in the Becoming More Authentic video. But things really started to move so quickly for me that there was a day where energetically, and I think this was probably like 2 days ago, like the influx of that positive shift that was coming in, it kind of disoriented me for a little bit. So when you start to manifest things and it starts to flow in, that change starts to flow in, and it starts to feel you. Do you have the capacity on all levels to be able to hold space for what is coming in? And this is a form of abundance. So for a day, I found that I was like disoriented because it was just like this influx happening in my life. And inside of the Vibrational Voodoo course, what I teach you how to do is to not only hold vibration for higher manifestations, but hold a vibration for a more full, joyful version of yourself. It's the same principle. So I felt this disorientation for like a day because I was like, damn, it's starting to happen fast. Like it's here, like mentally, psychologically, I'm ready for it. Like I've been ready to go, planning all the things around it so that I have all my ducks lined up. That's what Mercury retrograde was all about. And now it's happening like in a sense where I have to respond, and scheduling now has to shift, and I have to make sure that I have the energy physically to show up for the demands of what I desire to finally show up. And so you have to ask yourself, like, if this thing were to happen for me today, would I be ready? Would I have everything in place that I need to be able to smoothly transition into this thing? And so after energetically, it finally shows up. Well, it shows up on the physical realm energetically. I've been aligning with it. You align with that thing energetically, and then boom, it shows up. It's in your life, it's in your reality, it's affecting your time space reality. Like, then you have to continue to act. And in those cases, we can sabotage ourselves because we didn't prepare the supporting factors. So you can want like a major manifestation to occur in your life. Like, some people say they want to hit the lottery, but do you know how to do you know how to budget? Do you know how to invest your money? I love using the lottery as an example, because it's one of those outlier situations where it's like, wow, that is a lot to process, and it's a lot to focus on and maintain. It's just like buying a house. A homeowner, people that buy houses, they work and they work and they work to buy the house. But once you get the house, is all of the maintenance that goes into it. There are the unexpected things. There's those additional fees that come up with the process. So another way of what I'm saying to allow flow is to recognize again that every time you manifest something, now you are existing at a new level. You are existing at a new stage. And so you have to learn new skills to be able to hold the vibration of that new manifestation. And it is the same process of the muscle of manifest something, desiring something, manifest something, and being able to have all of your components situated so that you can maintain that manifestation long enough to be ready for more. And when we are completely tapped in and activated with our feminine energy, you always want more. It is the nature of feminine energy to desire more, to want to be more, and to have more. It's just the nature of who we are. So we want to be a clear channel for this flow. And not only do we want to be a clear channel, so channels, speaking of channels are, if you think about water, I love using water. It's been just such a season for discussing just the lessons that water has to teach. And a channel is something that flows through, if you think about water. And a channel flows into a greater body of water, usually, or it flows into a bank where it collects. Okay. And so when we are talking about this, we are either holding space to collect and creating space for the expansion of what is collecting and holding, so that you can redistribute it out into your community, your loved ones, or back into yourself, or into some creative process. Okay, so everything feeds one another when we are connected and when we are activated with these principles. So another thing that we need to be careful of when we are working through our manifestations is not rushing the process, and feeling self-defeated because you have to go through a learning curve. Any great manifestation is worthy of a learning curve, and so we always want to be comfortable with coming back to a state of being a devotee when it comes to the feminine aspect and the feminine principle. And remember, I would also like to add that when you do want to speed up your manifestations, because that's always the name of the game, is speed and gratification, whether it's instant or otherwise, the ultimate goal is that juicy, fulfilling gratification. We want to use our masculine principles of discipline, okay? Of discipline. Let me check on my notes here, because I'm like getting a ping about something that I want to mention. So we want to have that discipline. We want to have that masculine, supportive energy of discipline. And we want to be able to also allow for the universe to guide us in our process. Okay. Timelines. So that's what I wanted to talk about, timelines. So we always want to be comfortable with the possibility that we are shifting timelines. And when you become a master manifester, one of the ways to avoid sabotaging yourself, like as manifestations start to come in quickly, is to recognize that manifestations is not governed by the principles of time. Okay. And I know, speaking of time, I know that I'm like having a non-linear conversation with you today. I'm kind of all over the place. Remember to like the video, drop a comment below if the message is resonating for you. But one of the things that I find when I'm trying to manifest something is that sometimes things are non-linear. Okay. So you may have a desire to manifest something that is at this level. And then while you are surrendering to the process and surrendering to the flow, which means that you are doing your inner work and you are devoted to becoming a vibrational match for that thing that you are manifesting, sometimes the work and the dedication that you give to yourself can outmatch the vibration of the thing that it is you want to bring in, right? So you could do so good at your inner work when you originally had the intentions to get something that's at this level, where now you are attracting things at this level. Okay. It's like applying for a position and having a desire for this much money, but then getting accepted for something that gives you this much money, right? Like your vibration and the universe have both agreed that even though mentally you think that you're here, your ego thinks that you're here, energetically and mentally, you're actually ready for this. And oftentimes, because we're so hung up on this timeline and the possibility of what was going on down here mentally, we're not deeply connected with what is happening for us energetically, because emotionally and mentally, cognitively, we are tied up in an old timeline. And so that's why I always talk about becoming emotionally current, so that you are aware of where you are, so that when you start to see these signs and these symbols of where the universe wants to guide you, you can actively shift gears and you can actively open your heart and open yourself to be able to receive everything that God has for you, rather than needing to settle. And it takes so much inner work and it takes a lot of self sophistication and a lot of self substantiation through inner work to be able to get to that place. Okay. So remember that we each have our seasons. We all have our seasons, just like Mother Earth. And so we want to honor our seasons when we are in the process of manifesting, because some seasons we are to be emptying out ourselves. Like some season we have fall in our bodies, where we are pruning our proverbial forest, or the leaves are falling off, where old relationships and paradigms, or we are just really putting a microscopic lens on the thought processes and belief systems that we are having that need to go in order for us to align with that higher consciousness, right? Sometimes we are in that winter season where we just need to take a beat and chill and allow the presence of whatever vibration it is we are in to just marinate. Sometimes we need to be in that winter season of healing. Sometimes we are in the spring where we are just nurturing ourselves and we are just nurturing the new paradigms that we live on, or we are just nurturing the process and the practices of embodying those vibrations that we know we are really going to need when we really align, when the external world really aligns with what we desire internally. And sometimes we are in the summer season of our lives where we are just enjoying the height of that fertility. And also fall is for the harvest. So it's after you've had the fertility and you are just being nourished off of what it is you have embodied. Okay. So every season occurs inside of our mind, body, soul ship. And we want to become devotees of ourselves so that we can start to enjoy every season. Because remember, anytime we are rejecting any state of being or any stage of being, that is a form of sabotaging your manifestation. So no matter what season you are in your life, it can even be a season that is less desirable. Okay, like I can say, like when I first moved to the Bronx and I was living, in some precarious situations. I wanted to reject that experience, but there came a point where my goddess self came online and she was like, yo, you need to embrace this. You will never have this experience again in your life. Just embrace it and find the lesson in the situation and figure out the skills that you need to take you to your next level. Okay. And that is where we are. I promise you, I feel like there's something that I wanted to say, like, limiting beliefs, right? So limiting beliefs. I have a 6-step process for limiting beliefs because I truly believe that limiting beliefs are meant to serve as signposts for our next destination. There is a limiting belief video somewhere in my catalog. If you're a real one, a part of the Goddess Gang, if you could find that video, maybe tag it below, that would be so incredible. I'm pretty sure that I did a limiting beliefs video at some point in the past, but I just don't have the time to go find it. I'm sorry. But if I do find it, I will definitely link it in this video, or it might be in one of the courses. I'm not sure. But I have a 6-step process for limiting beliefs because I feel that limiting beliefs are so powerful because they show you exactly where you are. If you can get used to having these high level conversations with yourself, whether it be in the form of journaling or whether it be talking to yourself out loud, doing like an audio journal. I love audio journals. I love written journals, any kind of journal. You'll really be able to identify your limiting beliefs. And excuse me, what I will tell you is your ability to navigate your limiting beliefs is going to determine your ability to flow throughout each of the seasons of your life. So if your limiting beliefs, they serve as signposts to your next level, okay? You are then going and you can identify these signposts and you can look at yourself from your goddess self and you can look at your smaller self. I always call it the small version of me, little Andrea and the goddess Andrea. There's goddess Andrea and then there is little Andrea, right? So I'll tap in to the universal source spirit. Let's do it right now. So go ahead, let's do a quick meditation. So put your feet on the ground or come into cross knees. Make yourself comfortable. Really allow yourself to be held in whatever space it is you're in. And we're just going to root into the space that we're in and really feel it holding and supporting our weight. Feel the body just resting. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take 2 more of those. And we are just going to speak to the universe. Thank you, universal source, God, power, creator. Thank you for showing me exactly where my limiting beliefs are, where they are in my body, and where they are in my mind in relation to where I am in my life and where I know that you are taking me. Thank you for helping me to see how these limiting beliefs are actually navigating me into my next stage and the stage after that and the stage after that. Thank you for giving me the strength and the honesty to be able to sit with these limiting beliefs and thank you for the clarity of the new direction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I want you to see those limiting beliefs just as a sign, as a guidepost. You can do the journal later. And we're going to see it as a sign, as a guidepost. And we are going to wait and watch for that sign to be shifted to point us in the aligned direction. Let me take one more deep breath. And with an inner smile, come back into our bodies, into this space. Begin to wiggle your fingers, your toes, open your eyes, and come back into this space. Beautiful, because we are grateful for our limiting beliefs. They are just a tool to serve in life and things working out for our highest and our best good. So, oh man, I feel like there is so much left in this topic. Manifestation is such a juicy topic. I might do some more videos on this. If you like this video, please remember to like and share. Comment below if you loved it. Let me know if you want to see more content like this. It's been such a pleasure. I love you all, and I will catch you in the next one. Mwah. One love.